I'm Christina Johnson, transformational nutrition coach, and today I want to talk about what I believe is the number one habit that you can implement to help it make it much more likely that you're going to stick with eating healthy consistently so that you can follow through on all those good intentions that you have. So first, if we haven't met yet, like I said, I'm Christina Johnson. I own a private health coaching practice, and I specialize in working with women who have struggled to eat healthy for most of their lives. And so instead of following another diet and counting calories or taking some kind of pill or supplement, we figure out how they can create a healthy lifestyle that they will stick with long term and have a healthy relationship with food so that it feels so much easier to stick with. And as I'm working with my private coaching clients in our very final session, I always want to help them create a plan and figure out how they can maintain this long term, because that's ultimately my goal, to help people have this lifestyle that just feels like their new normal. And so in that final session, I'll ask them, like, what are some of the habits that you feel like are most important that will ensure that you stick with eating healthy, so that when you wake up in the morning, you will have good intentions and then follow through the entire day. And over again, there's one habit that probably 80 to 90% of my clients mention is one of the most important things to do. And so I figured today, why not share that little secret with you? So I'll tell you what it is. I'm going to just kind of help explain why it's so important and then give you a couple tips on how you can start implementing this yourself. So before I share what my tip for you is, though, I would love to hear, what do you feel like for you is one of the most important habits that you have that makes it more likely for you to eat healthy on a day-to-day basis? So will you share that in the comments with me? Just put it in the comments. What's one habit that you feel like is really important for you or for other people that you know? And then if you think this topic would be helpful to anyone else, would you just hit the share button or tag a friend or family member in the comments so that they can hear this information as well? So let's get started. The number one habit that, I am honest when I say that client after client tells me this is one of the most important things that allows them to eat healthy consistently. And I'm going to warn you, it is not super exciting. It is not probably something you've never heard of before, but it is meal planning. And I know, like, it's not one of the most, exciting things that we could do. It's not new or revolutionary idea, but here's what I would challenge you with. If you are not creating a meal plan every single week on a consistent basis, then I would challenge you to have an open mind, listen to this whole video, it's going to be a short one, all the way through, and really think about, would it be helpful for you to actually follow through on creating a meal plan and pick up some tips on how to get started. Because I know for a lot of people, meal planning can be challenging. I always find it a little funny. So I'm a very type A, detail-oriented, organized person, and so meal planning is just pretty natural for me. So it kind of surprised me at first to realize, oh, not everybody's just like me. They have different strengths than I have. And so I have so many clients that can give up coffee pretty quickly, or they can completely cut out sugar for a week, but they struggle week after week after week with creating a meal plan. So I know that the idea of creating a meal plan for a variety of reasons can feel hard, it can feel overwhelming, it can feel stressful, it can feel like it takes too much time. And so there's a lot of reasons why people just don't do it. And so if you're one of those people, then just really listen and think about whether or not it could have value for you. And I'd love to hear, will you just put in the comments, are you somebody who makes a meal plan every single week? Are you somebody who's done meal planning off and on throughout your life? Or are you somebody who just is always flying by the seat of your pants? I'd love to hear which of those camps that you fly in. So let me know in the comments below. But let me just briefly share, I think, 5 reasons why meal planning is so beneficial. So number 1, you are going to be so much more likely to follow through on those good intentions to eat healthy if you have a plan. So if you know exactly what you're going to bring for lunch to work or what you're going to make for supper that night, if you have the meat thawed out already so you can prepare dinner, if you've already gone to the store and have the ingredients on hand and you're not missing anything, you are going to be 20, 30, 40 times more likely to actually eat healthy foods. When we don't have a plan, we're more likely to go through drive-through or just to throw in something throw together something that's maybe not so healthy just because we need to get the dinner on the table. So I promise you, you will be so much more likely to eat healthy when you have a plan in advance. But number two, I think what not everyone realizes, especially if you're not a planner by nature, is that you will have so much less mental energy and stress that you're using when you have a plan. I remember I worked with a client probably about a year ago now who was never really a meal planner, and she said she'd wake up in the morning thinking about, oh, what am I going to make for supper tonight? And all day long, she'd be kind of in the back of her mind thinking about, well, what's going to be for supper tonight? And it was just it took a lot of mental thought and stress and energy to figure that out. And then she'd get home and maybe she didn't have all the ingredients on hand, or maybe she, just didn't had to take time to look for a recipe. So when she started making a meal plan and following it, she just didn't have to think about it anymore. So you don't have to spend so much time and thought and energy when you have that plan in advance. Another great benefit that a lot of my clients have discovered is that it's great for their families, because I don't know about you, but I know a lot of my clients with kids or even husbands, they'll come to them like, what's for supper tonight? What are we going to have? And it would add the stress to themselves to figure out a meal. But when their families got used to, here's the meal plan, it's posted on the fridge or it's laying somewhere in the kitchen, then they can just go and look and know what to expect as well. And so that I think just eases everyone's stress a little bit in the house. The fourth benefit that really comes from meal planning is it just saves you so much time. So again, I know that a lot of people feel like they just don't have time to meal plan, or they don't have time to cook healthy meals. And if one of your priorities is to work on your health or your weight loss goals, I'm just going to be honest with you that you don't have time not to meal plan. I promise you that if you take 30, maybe 45 minutes in the beginning, it takes a little bit longer the first few weeks, but if you can set aside 30 minutes to plan, it will save you so much time throughout the week. The mental time that I talked about, where you're always thinking about what's for dinner, you'll make one trip to the store instead of multiple trips, or you can just place your whole week's order for groceries online and have it delivered, or go just pick it up. It saves time because you have all the ingredients on hand when you're going to cook a meal. And so I just highly encourage you, if time is something that's a struggle or an issue for you, that lack of time, then you have to make time for meal planning, because it will save you so much time on the back end. And then lastly, meal planning really saves you so much money. I was just talking with somebody today who I think was using some kind of app to keep track of their finances, and realized how much money she was spending on eating out and fast food. I mean, hundreds of dollars a month. So if you have that meal plan, and again, you have everything on hand, you're going to save money, because you're probably not going to be eating out or going through the drive-thru so much. You're only going to be buying groceries for food that you actually eat. You're not going to be wasting food. And so really, I mean, I know I hear from some people that eating healthy, it tends to be more expensive. But when you take a little bit of time to plan, then it actually saves you quite a bit of money, and actually can be cheaper than eating when you're not healthy. So those are 5 of the reasons why I think meal planning is such a great idea. So I'm curious, if you are in agreement with me that meal planning is helpful, will you click the like button and just let me know that you're on board with this idea. So like I said, meal planning is something that is challenging to implement. And honestly, with some of my clients, we spend, 2 weeks up to a month really working on getting a good meal planning system that works for them. So you have to figure out how to do this in a way that fits in your time and into your weekly schedule. But let me just give you a tip on how I would approach this. So I really break the meal planning process into 3 parts. So part number 1 is to create your menu. So this is where you actually decide, this is what I'm having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the week. So you make that menu, and then you make a grocery list that goes with it. That's step 1. Then step 2 is actually getting the groceries. Whether you're going to the store and getting them yourself or having them delivered, whatever you do, step 2 is actually getting the groceries and having them on hand. And for a lot of people, these first 2 steps is enough to start with. But if you're a little more advanced, or if you're really wanting to take this to the next level, the 3rd step is doing some meal prep at some point during the week. For me, it's on Sundays, but for other people, maybe you have a Tuesday off from work, and so Tuesday's a great day to do some meal prep. And meal prep, I think we've all seen those pictures on Facebook or somewhere where like people show the refrigerators and there's all these containers of food and everything's all portioned out for the week. That is amazing. It is never something that I have quite taken the time and effort to get to. But if you want to do that, great. But meal prep could also be a little simpler. It could be, for me, making one big batch of soup so that I can have it every day for lunch. Maybe it's throwing some salads in mason jars so that I can just grab a mason jar and dump it into a bowl, and that's my lunch, is this salad that I've prepared. Maybe it just means chopping some vegetables so that, like onions and peppers, so that when you go to meal or make your dinners, that you can the vegetables are already chopped and you can just throw it in. So meal prep, yes, can be fancy and you can like get everything all planned out, or it could just be a few simple things that you do to make the cooking process quicker during the week. So that's where I would recommend getting started, is figuring out what day of the week, typically, this may change a little from week to week, but when are you going to do your meal planning and making your grocery list? For me, I usually like to do that Friday night or Saturday morning. And then when are you going to get your groceries? And so I make my menu and have it by Saturday morning. I'll throw it in my purse. We live about 30 minutes from the grocery stores that I like, so that when I'm out and about over the weekend running errands, whenever I have time, then I'll stop. My grocery list is made. I can just pick up groceries, take them home. And then Sunday night, my husband and I set aside an hour or two to do a little bit of food prep. So that's my routine. I will tell you, it really feels strange anymore if Monday morning hits and I haven't made a meal plan and have my groceries bought and have some food prepared. That happens maybe once a year when we're on vacation, but other than that, no matter what we have going on the weekend, we're getting our meal plan made, we're getting our groceries, and we're ready Monday morning for the week to start. And it just makes my life so much easier. It saves time, saves money, and all those other benefits that I shared before. So I'd love to hear from you. Are you willing to commit to stepping up your meal planning game in 2020? Either to giving it a try for the first time, to being more consistent with it, or maybe to step up the meal prep part of it and to do more meal prep on the weekends or whenever you have time during the week. So let me know in the comments if you are willing to commit to meal planning in 2020. And like I said, I know this can be challenging for people. It's one of the things that I do work on in my private coaching program. So if you're wanting support with not just how to create a meal planning routine, but just how to eat healthier overall, to make that transition into a clean eating lifestyle, to really getting to the root of issues so that you have a healthy relationship with food and stick with it long term, then I would love to help you make a plan and really set you up for success in 2020. So feel free to reach out to me and we can set up a complimentary consultation where we can just talk about what your goals are and see if my coaching program would be a good fit for you. But other than that, if you have any questions about meal planning, feel free to put them in the comments. Like I said, it is something that comes naturally to me because I'm just a natural planner and organized type of person. So it's something I enjoy. And I'm also curious. I've thought about putting together like a little workshop or training on my meal planning process. So if that's something that would be helpful for you, let me know in the comments or just send me a message, and I might consider doing that in the new year sometime. So if you have any other questions, let me know, but good luck with your meal planning. I hope you're enjoying the holiday season, and I will talk to you again next week. Bye for now.